Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Report Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, as we continue reviewing these shows from WrestleMania weekend, WrestleCon Super Shows, and the Collective, we are up to the WrestleCon Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show. This did take place yesterday. I had to stop it. I had to get some sleep, so I finished it up this morning. I'm also watching GCW's Planet Death. And once I get that done, we will move on to that review as well. Today we got the JCW versus LA fights, GCW for the culture, New Japan Lone Star Shootout, Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, GCW's Gringo Locos The World of Lucha, Impact Wrestling Multiverse of Matches, and then Joey Janela Spring Break 2. That all takes place tonight. Again, just like yesterday, we'll do as many reviews as we can, and then if not, we'll try to finish them up the next day. And then Saturday is just craziness. At one point on the Saturday, let's see here, at 11 o'clock is High Spots USA versus the World, which I'm kind of looking forward to. And at 11 o'clock is GCW's Effie's Big Gay Brunch. At noon is NXT 2.0 TakeOver. Or NXT 2.0 Stand and Deliver, and then at 3 o'clock is Mission Wrestling, 6 o'clock is Night 1 at WrestleMania, 7 o'clock is Unsanctioned Pro Wrestling, and then at midnight is Black Label Pro. Yeah, the next 2 days are going to be chaotically fun. Nothing like sitting back and watching two wrestling shows at the same time, and just enjoying what pro wrestling puts on for WrestleMania weekend. Alright, on to the WrestleCon Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show. Holy hell, the first match, Speedball Mike Bailey versus Bandido. This match delivered for me in more ways than you can imagine. Just every time Bandido hits his trios of suplexes and does the homage to Eddie Guerrero, the crowd chants Eddie Guerrero. When he hits his finisher, something 21, and Bailey kicked out. He hit it twice and Mike Bailey kicked out. Nobody kicks out of that move. When Mike Bailey does his 450 knee drop and Bandido moves and they start doing these crazy moves on the apron, on the ringside, just all over the place, and just flying everywhere, and doing all those amazing spots. 16 minutes, pretty much spot fest. I absolutely loved it. Right now, this might be the match of the weekend for me. I did 4.5 on it. I know the Bloodsport match with Mox and Busick, I've seen online 4.5 on that. I was about a 4. I rewatched it. I'm probably going to change that, maybe 4.25, maybe 4.5. But right now, the non-Bloodsport match, this is the match of the weekend. 4.5. Bandido getting the victory over Mike Bailey. Seeing this match advertised and going, that's going to be a good match. To what it was, unbelievable to me. Next up, we had Mia Yim versus Athena. I don't know, this match was good. Don't get me wrong. Mia Yim did get the victory, which I was kind of shocked. Athena was kind of heelish, I thought, in this match. And but Mia Yim, these two ladies are probably pretty equal to each other. We all know what Athena did in her WWE run and NXT run. We know what Mia Yim has done in Impact in the past and NWA and etc. she's wrestled with. But Mia Yim getting the victory, I ended up giving it 3.5. Next match was just a fight brawl. Tomohiro Ishii versus Timothy Thatcher. The Pitbull versus Timothy Thatcher. It was just everything I thought it was going to be and more. Seeing a guy from like Timothy Thatcher from the UK, normally we're used to wrestle a lot, and then a New Japan guy. Just watching these guys go at it was amazing. Just a brawl. That's all it was. It was a brawl. Ishii ended up getting a victory. I give it 3.5. I enjoyed it. Can't wait to see more of Ishii during the weekend, and Timothy Thatcher, what he can do back on the indies. The next match was one of those matches, kind of like some of the WrestleMania matches are. On paper, you're like, okay, this could be a good match. And then when it starts, you're like, oh god, this is going to be trash. And then as it goes on, I was like, hell, I love this match. It was Johnny WrestleCon, John Morrison, John Hennigan, whatever you want to call him, Johnny WrestleCon versus his wife, Taya Valkyrie, in a dirty dishes match. So I guess Johnny doesn't do dishes. And so Tyler got tired of it. So they had a match here. The loser of this match has to do dishes for life. So you're like, okay, this could be a fun little match. Well, as the match goes to get started, Taya has somebody bring out a bunch of pans of dishes. Oh, okay. Dirty dishes, mind you. From their house in California. She brought them with her to Texas. Well, there were bottles in this, there was cups, plates, etc. Well, they decided to use these weapons on each other. More John on Taya. So they're literally hitting each other with bottles and plates and cups and whatnot and trying to beat each other. And then you could tell after a while it was kind of pissing off how Valkyrie, so she went after John. And these two, I mean, it was a good match. But it had the other stuff in it that makes it even better. And so, probably 3/4 of the way through the match, Morrison grabs him, or Johnny WrestleCon, Johnny Bloodsport, whatever you want to call him, John Hennigan, grabs a microphone and says, Pero, we've hit each other with everything but the kitchen sink. Bring out the kitchen sink. So Big Pero of the end brings out a kitchen sink. Stainless steel sink, had the hoses and everything attached. It looked like he just ripped away from a wall and brought it out. So they start trying to hit each other with the kitchen sink. Taya end up doing kind of like a trip clothesline thing, into where Johnny fell on the kitchen sink and almost knocked his ass out. And in the end of it, Taya Valkyrie got the victory. So now John Hennigan has to do dishes for life. It was a fun, intriguing match. I give it 3.5. I remember back when the pandemic started, there was a match over in the UK, Will Ospreay versus Bea Priestley. The two of them were dating at the time. And it was one of those things where when you see people in a relationship battling in a ring, it's like a whole different dynamic. I've been married 20 years, so it's a whole different dynamic. Like, I couldn't do that. And it's just like, and watching them two in the ring go after each other, hit each other with cups and plates and all this, and then at the end of it, Taya wins, they get out of the ring, they're walking up the apron, and they kiss and make up. It's like, it was a fun, good match. Like I said, 3.5, Taya gets the victory. Next up, we had a Lucha Libre 6-way tag match, trios matches they're called in Lucha Libre. We had somebody in this match that, to me, needed the recognition. It needed to have the crowd of the collective, the WrestleCon of America, see him because he is that freaking talented. We had the AAA Cruiserweight Champion Laredo Kid teaming up with Ray Horus, teaming up with Michael Oku, versus a trio from Impact Wrestling, Ace Austin, Black Taurus, and Josh Alexander. Michael Oku is kind of the unknown of this group, I think. I know him. I've watched him in a 5-star match versus Will Ospreay in Rev Pro this year. I've watched him win the Rev Pro Undisputed Cruiserweight Championship and battle against a number of cruiserweights over in the UK. This was probably his first real big US match. He delivered. He had some great spots. Teaming up with Laredo Kid and Ray Horus. You have 3 Lucha Libre style just brawlers, or Lucha Libre style wrestlers, versus 3 guys that aren't really Lucha Libre, but they can brawl, but they can do what they need to do to get by. Ace Austin, very nimble on his feet, very able to get counter match moves and stuff. Black Taurus, big old tough guy. Josh Alexander, we all know what he's about. This is a great match. But the fact that Laredo Kid, Micah Oku, and Ray Horus got the victory here. And this was the second 4-star match of the card. I give it 4. I loved it. One of my favorite matches. So when we look at the best of the collective, right now this is on the list. So definitely love that match. But that's the style that I grew up with. Cruiserweight, WCW Cruiserweight was kind of where I started watching professional wrestling. So it's like that Lucha Libre influence style. The Lucha Libre style, it's like I just sit there and watch the flips all day long. The bigger, the badder the flips, the more I'm like, okay. Alright, ain't no flips in this next match. This was just a straight up brawl. Minoru Suzuki versus Biff Busick. Both guys coming off great showings at the Bloodsport 8. These two just brawled each other. I give it 3.5. It's just Suzuki, when he starts chopping people and just beating the living tar out of someone, just has that little smirk to him, like, yeah, I know I just beat the hell out of you. I don't care. It's just amazing to see what he's able to do at his age. Biff Busick, just hardcore brawler. It's amazing. Suzuki getting the victory. I give it 3.5. Oh god, the next is the most random 10-man tag you've ever seen in your life. Our team captains were Atani. So, Atsushi Atani from All Japan Wrestling, Hardcore Legend, and PCO. These were our captains. So on Atani's team we had the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, Juice Robinson, Colt Cabana. That's an odd group, but okay. On PCO's team, we had Enzo, yes, Enzo Amore, Jimmy Wang Yang, Dirty Dango, and Barry Horowitz. Yes, there was a Barry Horowitz sighting in Dallas. This was just the most random-ass 10-man tag of people that used to wrestle for WWE a long-ass freaking time ago, and then a hardcore legend. Yeah, just so freaking random this year. Atani's team got the victory. Colt Cabana, Juice Robinson, and then Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson. I give it 2 3/4. It was one of those so freaking random matches that you'd have to tune in to watch. Kind of like what the Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn match is going to be in WrestleMania. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here, people? I gotta watch it. Damn. Then our main event. If you turn back time 15 years ago, so what would that be? 2007 to even before that, 2005-ish, to the Ring of Honor era. These 4 men were woven in the fabric of what created what Ring of Honor is. We had the Briscoes, J. Mark Briscoe, 12-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, current Game Changer Wrestling Tag Team Champion, former NWA Tag Team Champion. Jay Briscoe, 2-time Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. Mark Briscoe, 1-time former Ring of Honor TV Champion. Versus the Rottweilers. Low-key, former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. Former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion. Former MLW World Heavyweight Champion. Teaming with Homicide. Homicide, part of the 5150 in NWA Tag Team Champ. Former, I believe he's held the NWA Tag titles, MLW, and wherever else he's wrestled. AEW, or not AEW, Impact. Part of LAX. These 4 guys are just, the history of Ring of Honor goes through these 4 guys. Seeing them in a match in 2022 was like, alright, I'm good with this, man. The fact this match starts with Low-Key getting into an argument with a fan. Typical Low-Key. And then they literally escorted this fan out. I don't know what the hell he said or anything. And then Low-Key jumped the railing, sits in the dude's seat next to his friends, and was going to hang out. Just goes back over, gets a mic, tells the security, no, bring this asshole back up here, basically. Let him sit front row. Homicide was John with him. Briscoes grabbed the mic and said, you know what, why don't we make this no DQ? What do you think, Dallas? Make this no DQ. Crowd erupts, because, I mean, imagine these 4 guys killing each other. And then Homicide grabs the mic and says, Dallas, you want this? You ain't getting it. Sorry. So none of not being a no DQ match. But yeah, it was a great match, though. Just the Briscoes being the Briscoes. You know, low key, you can see it, he's a head case and a half. Homicide is homicide. The Briscoes ended up getting a victory, 3.5. You know, just a typical Briscoe match. Go out there, kick some ass, take some names, win a match. They won 2 matches within hours of one another. They started off spring break winning the GCW tag titles. They end the Memorial Show with beating the Rottweilers. That's a great 3-hour period for them. But alright, that's going to wrap up WrestleCon Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show review. Like I said, I'm in the middle of watching Planet Death right now. Trying to get that review up. Today's going to be a little bit different than yesterday, the first 2 shows. I probably won't be watching live. What is that? JCW versus LA Fights, and then GCW for the Culture. But those reviews will be delayed a little bit. But I will be starting the Lone Star in the NJPW Lone Star Shootout at 5, and then Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor at 7. So those will probably happen in real time. As soon as the shows are over, reviews are up, pause what I'm watching and move on. Alright, well, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. I'm hoping you're having as much fun watching wrestling this weekend as I am. Cannot wait for the rest of the weekend. Today and tomorrow is kind of the big days, and then Sunday is kind of a chill until Sunday night for night 2 of WrestleMania. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.